Hello everyone, this is Nicholas Guillermo with ActivismTruth.com. This video is about how we the people can nullify the federal government, whether it's the NDAA, the Patriot Act, whether it's any laws and legislation that they impose on our state that we deem unconstitutional, how we can nullify them. Now, there is a great group called the 10th Amendment Center that is promoting this very cause. They will tell you all about how we can nullify them from a perspective of the constitutional republic, which is a great concept, and it's absolutely something that I personally endorse. However, I see a flaw in relying on the same politicians that are voting for these unconstitutional laws and to wait for them to now be responsible enough to vote against them. I see a flaw in that methodology. I see a flaw in the lobbying process where people wait for politicians and pray and clap their hands and send them letters and tell them to please support people's rights. I see a flaw when politicians are already sold out and people are clamoring to write them letters and give them phone calls and just spreading the news about how corrupt they are, because that does not create direct results. But there is a solution. The direct results we want to see can be created by ourselves, which is a constitutional principle that the Founding Fathers absolutely endorsed. Mind you, 100 years before the initiative process was created, when the birth of the progressive era began, with the initiative process starting in several of the western states in the country, George Washington said, with the initiative and referendum process, there is no need for future constitutional conventions. And what he was explaining was how there was already this concept of a citizen's initiative in a referendum. There was this concept long before it ever was put into place. The Founding Fathers knew that we were going to have a stronger democracy representative of the people. And in order to do that, today, we need to utilize the initiative and referendum process because it is the only way the people have the ability to bypass the politicians and bypass our governors, strengthening the 10th Amendment and creating states' rights, creating legislation that allows us to limit the federal government. And the 10th Amendment Center has great concepts. They absolutely have the right intentions, but again, they're put at the mercy of waiting for the same politicians who create the problem to be responsible to fix them. And they rely on you, the taxpayer, the citizen, the voter, to write them letters and tell them that they need to support these new laws that counteract what they have already voted on. I don't agree with that type of system. I don't agree with that mentality because it hasn't worked, and I don't see it working until we can create some legislation that will absolutely stop corruption in government. I don't see a constitutional republic working today. But in order to enact legislation that will stop corruption in government, we cannot rely on the politicians to do it themselves. They have been negligent, purposefully working around the limits of constitutional checks and balances. We have lawyers working within the congressional branch and the judicial branch is merging with the congressional branch. We don't have a separation in checks and balances. We have these corrupt kangaroo courts. We have corrupt politicians taking corporate money, a military-industrial complex that is running our country, putting us in debt, and creating these worthless investments in our nation that really are just causing lots of problems for us abroad. So there's so many problems facing us, and we're seeing a crackdown on civil liberties now. So we really need to get out of this mindset. We need to snap out of this paradigm that we got to wait for politicians or wait for other activist groups to get the job done, and we also need to snap out of the paradigm of just thinking that if we explain these problems to enough people, things will change. Because it's not a matter of just explaining the problems to people to change things. We also need to explain the solutions. And the number one solution that we have, the ace in the hole, the one thing that no groups are talking about the United States of America, except for myself, what I'm doing here, and a handful of groups are hinting at the solution. The solution is ballot access. And to have ballot access in every state in the country possible where the people can utilize the ballot access to put on our own initiatives, to make our own law changes in our state, to put referendums on the ballot to stop corrupt federal laws. This is possible, okay? And to have recalls to kick politicians out of office. We need to kick almost all of them out. We really need to put them, put their feet to the fire, so to speak, and hold them accountable. That if they don't support our NDAA nullification laws that have been written, or they don't support laws to nullify Obamacare or to stop fluoridation in the water, to stop chemtrails, if they don't sign bills to legalize industrial hemp or to create sovereign money in our states, then we need to kick them out of office right away. And we need to replace them with better candidates. We need to create a free media, free of corporate influence. I believe that it is possible. I believe that laws can be put in place to stop corruption and propaganda from being rampant. It's going to be piecemeal. We're going to have to fix these problems one piece at a time. But in the same mindset, we may need to create legislation for all these different problems, but we can all do them at the same time. You can take one election. By the next election, we could put 10, 20, 30 initiatives on the ballot all at the same time. We can put referendums on the ballot to stop corrupt laws and recalls, and nominations for independent candidates that are constitutionalists. Put them on the ballot. Let people have more choices. We can do this all at the same time. Now, using the old model of attaining ballot access, where huge fundraisers are put into place to raise money for ballot access campaigns that are going to basically put media out there to raise awareness about issues and petitions that people can sign. We can embrace a new type of structure. It's what Activism Truth is all about. Instead of the old structure of individual campaigns working on their issues, trying to get their signers on petitions, Activism Truth is about creating a grassroots network of individuals concerned with the problems in America that are ready to embrace initiatives, who will stay interconnected and help grow our network together with all of us, so that we can reach a critical mass equivalent to the amount of signatures needed to put initiatives on the ballot. This is a revolutionary idea. Once we have a critical mass of the voters that are required to put initiatives on the ballot, and we're organized, we're talking amongst each other about issues we want to see, we can vote amongst ourselves as what the top law changes that we need to see are. And we can contact the constitutional lawyers, and a lot of the important legislation that we need has already been drafted. We can easily put initiatives on the ballot once we have strength in numbers like this. We can qualify initiatives practically overnight. Over a weekend, we could put 10, 20, 30 initiatives on the ballot all at the same time. And that is a very powerful message. I'm attempting to do something nobody has done before, nobody's talking about in the whole nation. But it requires your participation. So if you like what you're hearing, I need you to subscribe to get other updates. I'm going to start putting up a lot of videos here over the next week and month. And I really see all the work I've been putting into Activism Truth accumulating, that within the next month or two, a national campaign to start promoting Activism Truth is going to be underway. I've been waiting because I really wanted things to be almost perfect. It's been keeping me from launching anything, but it's because I need to have all the pieces into play. I need to open up web pages on each state's ballot access possibilities, and then find promoters in each state who will promote their state's ballot access network and help connect people within to this program, so that we can build critical masses in each state individually and in each city that has ballot access. You can find out more by going to activismtruth.com. I have a bunch of links. I have a lot of references to facts about how we can save our nation. And it's all based on facts. This isn't speculative. And I need you to subscribe, give this channel a thumbs up, and share it on any social networking sites that you participate in, and that will be part of the solution. So thank you so much for watching, and please feel free to contact me directly if you like what you hear. Thank you. Have a great new year. We can make this happen.